you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hearer of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
You with us still? Again, man, this peace and all the blessings be within and about your presence. Lord Holy-Apostle Deen. Brother A.H.A.D here again on an A.H.A.D more. We'll continue with this discussion.
I wasn't as shocked as the Holy Apostle because when I started reading the Quran, I was young, and when you trying to, well, I don't know about anybody else, but I was trying to study, and I could never get past chapter 2 because it just didn't make any sense to me when I read, we will replace you with a new people. I'm like, new people? I start thinking about Martians, don't laugh.
We gotta laugh.
I was like,
Ooh, because she wasn't as shocked as me, because her mind was like out of here.
and I really started thinking like, what new people? It's like, these Martians gonna be real and come into place here. What do the Lord means of them new people? I just never, could get past that point. And then, years later, Ahezaah revealed to me what it meant by new people. And it was so crystal clear because you start looking at the Muhammad people and what they had become. They had become just like the government of the United States. Yeah. So I was like, oh, see, Allah knows what we know not. You know what I'm saying? And when Allah wrote that passage, sent that passage down to Prophet Muhammad, Allah knew what was yet to come. And it was so crystal clear that they would take and tamper and do everything so that they could fit into a world that they were forbidden to bite of the apple. You understand what I'm saying? So it came in so clear. But it was disappointing, but it was clear.
One thing about my personality, I was always naive, and I still have some of that in me. I was naive enough to think that people feared the Lord like I feared the Lord. Those who understood and said Allah, they had to fear it to even say it, to say they believed. I thought they loved Allah like I loved Allah, and I thought they would never play with Allah, never doubt and disgrace the word or the name of Allah. But when I found out that people were doing that, first of all, it was like in grades. Okay, I felt the Christians was doing. I was raised a Christian at first, and I felt they were doing. I said, okay, they just don't understand. They are lower level people, lower level thinking people. They don't understand. They've accepted another way. The way of our forefathers, slave masters who beat that in them and forced it upon them. But then I get to the Muslims and I said, okay, they doing what their low level thing. They with Elijah Muhammad, and they're not really being taught Islam, and they don't know no better. So I kept making excuses to myself. But as I was growing and I was seeing people in dignified or high-level positions, in Islam, playing with Islam like ministers of the Christianity be playing with Christianity, and the priests be playing with Catholicism, it was shocking to me. It became more shocking and shocking. Then when I realized that in the very words of the translations of the Holy Quran, that they had purposely and intentionally changed things. Now that was the chakra. And I said, wow. Now I understand why you must pray or beg the Lord to protect you when you go into these books, to this information. You need his protection because the devil is all in it. The devil that put his hands all in it and got you thinking it's complete, holy. Even the and mainly the translations is holy. Once it's taken out, it's just like being born. Once you come out of the womb of heaven and into the womb of your mother, you start losing aspects of your holiness. And when you're born into this world of evil, which has been separated from the manifestation and the realization of the Lord El, where you have to go through this Garden of Eden and fight your way through to come back to that realization. Cash evil. You know, and that's the way it is when you translate a book. It's like being born out of something. That translation is born out of the truth. And you got to fight through it to get back to the truth in it. Or through it, you know. Yeah.
I remember an experience encountering Quranic reading, and similar to your experience, bro, the shock of the similarity, the shock that it was, a matter of fact, a commentary on the biblical stories and commentary on that truth, and more of a reassertion or clarification, you know, like a fixing up for me in my experience. What I found shocking was that I had not yet taken Shahada, the initial Shahada, because I was inspired.
Witness bearing. So I ain't gonna show how that is out there.
I was the witness bearer. You know, that's the procedure, the ceremony.
To dedicate your life, the dedication to yourself to Islam.
And what yes, to be the Muslim Islamic community, but was finding that how many people in the Islamic community were not versed in reading Quran or even translations of Quran. They were just people. Again, like the people from the Christian background that I grew up in, and the street background that I played in. You know, they were just people. Like, okay, there's what's called another thing going on. Where is the truth? So thus, you know, if you're serious and searching for the truth, at that point you come to a decision. Are you going to be serious, or are you going to revert back to what it is that you've been used to or brought into? You know,
it brings you to an understanding of why one of the prophets considered symbolizing himself as sheep, saying, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." Now, when he did that, he was looking at the people. The people are mostly like sheep, like cattle, and they're herded. They're herded and they're grazed by something. And he said, "The Lord is my shepherd," not the jinn, not the devil, not the government. The Lord itself is my shepherd, my sheep herder. You see? But the people in general are led astray in great numbers. And all they do, what most of them do is, even though many read, they don't truly understand what they read or follow what they read. And those who do, many of them find power in numbers because they have a desire not to submit to the Lord else. So they create institutions and say, well, you must follow this institution no matter how intelligent you are. And that's where you have these great nations come up with these constitutions and laws and bylaws that they've broken off from the divine laws that they clearly knew, to form their own so that they can be established as a free government. Free of what? Free of the Lord El.
It's funny he said that, because I always say Allah don't change his laws and orders. People go about trying to change what Ahezaah has set down. Now, he said of that verse he said is called the Lord's Prayer. When he said, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." Now, people try to make religion or that which Allah sent down to seem so difficult. That's no different than what I used to send down through Prophet Muhammad in the opening of the Quran.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. That's what I'm saying. Allah didn't make it difficult, and Allah ain't changed nothing up. You know what I'm saying? Allah is still calling and still sending down his laws and orders as it did from the beginning up to now. It just sends someone to call the people so that people could be reminded and turn away from the evil, because what Allah let happen is it let evil reign. And then it sends a messenger again to say to the people, hey, you going the wrong way.
Right.
I am still present.
Right.
You know, do you give up that which is better for that which is worse?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then the law said it won't destroy a town if it's one believer in that town. Allah is fair and just. He gives everybody time. But Prophet Muhammad said, who knows the hour?
Yeah.
You know, and when people look at that, you know, the Muslims have gone far astray with that. They call it the night of power. No, Allah said, who knows the hour? Same thing the law said to the angels. Which one of you know your name? You know, Allah is letting us know that it is all knowing. It is all powerful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the answer lies with it and it alone. You know, but this man likes to put a mix in there for their own personal desires.
Well, Father, that brings to mind that it is all knowing. It is all present too. It is forever present. Has always been present since Adam and Eve, the children of Adam and Eve. But which, Lord, you explain us, we are still those children. We are still in that,
Still in the Garden of Eden.
experiencing that same trial.
Yeah.
You know, of that serpent. You know, listening to the temptations of that serpent. And Lord, you pointed out how we're tried by those lower desires. You know, instead of abiding and being counseled by the commands and the will of Ahezaah. You know, what is in them lower desires that we lose face, lose our way.
Now, let's clear up what Lord desires is, because most people think Lord desires mean your sexual desires. You know, that's just one of the greatest things that the devil used against you is your sexual desires. But the lower desires that the Lord was talking about was the lower world desires, meaning the desires that you have in this world. All of your desires that you have in this world. You have to get those desires up for it. You have to sacrifice those desires for it.
Right. A lot of people don't understand the thing about sacrifice. You know, it's like Allah make you choose. It makes you choose. All the time you're making choices to pick it over something else. You know, the Holy Apostle was having a conversation with his children yesterday, I believe. And he explained to them, because see, a lot of people don't never want to get to the humanistic quality of a human being, especially if they say they're with the Lord. Then they think they just angelic and they fly on a kite and that's it. But he was explaining to his children how he has feelings and desires and love, you know, when it comes to things, but he sacrificed those things to stay right with Allah, you know, to do Allah's will, to be in order with Allah's command. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think that they can have it all. Allah said this life is nothing but a trial. And you have to sacrifice if you want to stay in harmony with Allah. You can't try to take that one little bit of your desire and keep it and flourish on it without forsaking being right with Allah. Right. You know, it's very important that people understand sacrifice is needed at all costs and all decision making. You know.
It brings to mind the lesson from a previous show when a question was asked. When I asked the question about how do you stop thinking and how do you stop, you know, when you gotta navigate in this physical realm while you're here in the Garden of Eden, you know, how do you deal with that? It was not going
Put everything aside, right?
Yeah. And referring to Ahezaah, Lord, is that, you know, if you got a thought, you're thinking, you ask your Lord, is that thought right? What do I do with it? What is this about? Recognize that Ahezaah, that the Lord that Allah Yahweh, Jehovah, this Lord of many names is present. He's still here. It still applies to everything, even if it's not really dead.
You know, people don't realize, so many people don't realize that everybody needs a guide. Everybody in this life needs a guide, needs a guide. We all need help. But we're seduced, we're tricked into thinking we don't. Now, first of all, the first law of nature is self-preservation. We have to be guided into understanding what that means. People think they know what that means. They think self-preservation is preserving, like me, preserving Holy-Apostle Deen. I'm not the self to be preserved. The self that I'm to preserve is the recognition, the realization, the alive being of the Lord El in me and everything else. I'm to preserve what I know of it in my mind and in my signs to the world about it. That's what it is for all of us to do. But what do we want to preserve? We want to preserve our house. We want to preserve our job. We want to preserve our cars. We want to preserve our love life, our mates, and and all the things that we desire of this world. We want to preserve all those things. So the world goes and it spins in chaos because everybody got different desires about what they want to preserve. If everybody was guided aright to preserve that true self, because it's the only real thing, the only alive and real thing to be preserved, if we all strive to preserve that, then it will keep us in harmony. And we wouldn't have separation of church and state, separation of money, separation of status. You understand? We wouldn't have the case systems that we have where one is greater than the other because of how much money they make. You got people running around here thinking that they are better people, that I'm better than you because they're making more money than me. Because a group of powerful people that's more powerful in their being together than the people who will be with me, because I ain't got enough people to make me powerful over them. So they say, you can't have this job, and you can't live in this house, and you can't have that tub to take a bath. I'm going to take this and that and this and that. Now, I'm better than you. I'm a better human being. Well, who makes us that way? You create conditions. People put us in, like I have sisters and brothers, they dare not tell people that they was raised in the ghetto and raised in projects and raised through what the average African Americans have gone through, because they become very successful in life, and they will dare not be at a party of their constituents or their peers and allow them to know where they came from. So they don't want me around. Keep him away from the parties. Don't let him speak at the funerals. Don't let him do nothing. Keep him back. Why? Because I deal with the truth of me. One of my greatest successes was coming out of the hell that the Caucasians put me and my parents in the ghetto. To come out of the hell that they put us in our educational system. To come out of the hell that they put us in the slave mentality that they drove into us and nurtured into us from 500 years ago, or whenever they brought them Africans over here to America. To attain a state of to be levitated over that over those mentalities. That was my greatest achievement until I came into the way of El. You see? Now, should I preserve myself for that? In that? No, because I realized by me preserving the truth, A.H.A.D, Allah, it has shown me and made clear to me that it was the preserver of me.
It was the exalter of me. It was the one that made me safe. It was the one that brought me out and raised me up. It made me not be ashamed of something that happened to me because I didn't cause it to be put upon myself. I will not rail down to people like Oprah Winfrey who say she want to be white. I do not want to be a Caucasian. I do not want to be a Russian. I'm an American. I want to be an American. I'm a New Jerseyan. I want to be a New Jerseyan. I'm an African, native, indigenous American. I want to be those things. Why do I want to be those things? Because that's what I was. That's what I was created to be. That's what I was born to be. That's what I was raised in being. If I was raised over in Egypt, I would want to be an Egyptian. Why would I not want to be a New Jerseyan? That's just like me being a goldfish, wanting to be a shark, wanting to jump out of the fresh water into the sea so I could go further to be eaten up. I want to be what the Lord has created me to be, and that's what I want to be. I'm not trying to be something other than myself. If I want to be something other, that means I'm dissatisfied with the decision of the Lord. I think it made a mistake. You see? So I preserve the true self. I seek to preserve that which is to be preserved in me. And that is my Lord El. That is my creator. That is my master. That is my guide. That's my essence, the essential being of me. You know? And then we need to be given understanding and guidance in that. Now, as this world goes down, you get 2 million dead fish and float into Baltimore Harbor, you know, in Arkansas, Arizona, or wherever, you know, and now out in overseas in Sweden somewhere, you know, birds flying, falling dead, millions of them out of the sky. And they keep trying to make a technical excuse about what happened. Oh, too much fireworks. Oh, yeah. Now, we didn't have, this country is how many hundreds of years old, and we didn't have July 4th, right? Independence Day or whatever. Fireworks. Where were the birds dying? All of a sudden, everybody in this time of recession, when nobody ain't got no money, and now all of a sudden we got more fireworks? Enough to kill the birds? The stupidest excuses, and people will believe it. We had all this stuff happening with the oil spills in the ocean and it didn't kill up them many fish in the sea. Now all of a sudden you see the fish, the birds, and the fish together dying around the beginning, the first of the year, 2011. As a sign from the Lord El that it is here, not coming, it is here. And like it said to me, son, don't worry, take your time. Said, they can't hear you right now. You're like a little voice way out in the forest. And nobody in the city can hear you. Said, but later on, when the pain hit the people, they gonna hear you loud and clear. Your voice gonna sound like you had one of those, what you call those things? A megaphone. He said, but you're not gonna be speaking any louder. It's just that they're gonna be focused on what you're saying. Because when I put my wrath on them, they're gonna look for my messenger so that they can get my message to try to get out of the way of harm that I put them in. Get out of my way of harm. Yeah, and that's the truth. You know? Now you got people joking about these things, the apocalypse, this, that, and they joking right now. How long will that joke last? And why are they joking? Do they think that they're above it?
Do they think they're above reproach? Do they think they're above harm's way? They think that their millions of dollars gonna keep them out of harm's way? When them fish die, they ain't say, we're dying so the people in the ghetto can eat us.
Millions of dollars can't put out the fires.
That's right. You know, all the things that's going on around the world.
Storms coming in place.
Would never been. You see how we having these snowstorms and blizzards and tornadoes and places that they ain't never been. You know? I mean, the signs have always been here, but the people don't want to see it. But the thing about it is, you know, like the Lord said to me, just be calm and don't be concerned. You know? And don't worry about nobody want to help you get my word out. You know? Because, see, the Lord sends me down, has raised me up as a sign, and it said for y'all to help me. It said to me when it sent down the book of the divine recitation, the book of the seven seals, it said, this is not sent down for you. This is the new covenant of my religion. It's not sent down for you. You're already of it. This is sent for the people. Tell the people that I don't mean to make you a beggar of them for their aid. So I haven't begged anyone to help me, but I've called on people to help me. And we have so many people watching this show all around the world now, you know, and I don't see people rushing in to help me. I've had enough people who went to war against me in the tri-state area, New Jersey and New York and Pennsylvania, you know, and Connecticut or whatever in this area, come against me, want to assassinate me, putting threats on me, putting threats on my family, putting threats on my associates for years until they realize this man telling the truth. Now that they know I'm telling the truth, they standing back and just waiting to see what happens instead of coming and say, I apologize. How can I help you? I put my threat on you. I sent my men to kill you. And I see that the Lord is with you. How can I help you? They ain't coming to help. And they think that the Lord going to be pleased with them and excuse them. I'm just as clear as Muhammad and Jesus and John and Israel and Moses and Abraham. I'm just as clear in my language in English as they were clear in their various languages to the people. And I'm not begging anyone. I'm just delivering its message. I have no power over it, and I have no power over the people.
Well, I'm calling to remind you, gave us a teaching on how people get motivated. All people get motivated to do things, but they have to wait until the pressure comes to them. The pain comes to them. That's the greatest motivation. All of a sudden, you can get things done. Other than that, procrastination is wasting time is the key. Their desires, fall to those desires, and being we're thinking of the signs is you're with the good with the technology of the day. The scientists, they should have scientificexcuses.com. But something I feel like that, you know, up here you get a lot of, maybe we can get a lot of hits or something like that.
Yeah, but not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Well, you got millionaires and you got billionaires who are going to be dying soon, and they ain't doing nothing with their money. The government won't let me go out and ask them. They don't let me ask through this show. They don't let me, you know, like I'm on a public access station here, you know, but we go on internet soon enough in the mainstream or whatever, from what my people tell me, where I can say more things, Ustream or whatever. I'm not into that technical stuff. That's what you all is about. But the thing about it is, for years I've been asking for help in certain ways, but I can't promote anything. You know, that's a law to stay on this broadcasting station, so that I can at least let the people know I'm here.
Or for those that are listening, Lord, the words and truth that you're giving to us in clear form is promotion enough, I believe. And those will listen, and as such, we're going to beg.
Still waiting for help.
To our audience, we beg for your help and for your listening in your minds. It's truth. Now, yes, peace and other blessings to you that in about your presence.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed?